Thank you very much. Just this month, bird flu claimed its first U.S. human life, and now several cases are also being reported in U.S. dairy and poultry workers. Joining us now to talk more about the virus and ways that you can protect yourself is Dr. Steve Threlkeld, an infectious disease expert with Baptist Health. Doctor, so good to have you here. Been a long time.
Thanks, It's good to be with you.
For many, during the pandemic, you became our doctor, letting us know what was going on with COVID-19. Again, glad to have you here today.
Great to see you.
Let's talk about something else that is on a lot of people's mind these days, bird flu. What exactly is it?
Well, bird flu is honestly the scariest thing we have going in infectious disease right now, and it has been for over 100 years, since the 1918 pandemic, where flu, which really is generally a bird virus to begin with, but occasionally it spills over into humans, whether it goes through pigs or other kind of animals along the way, but it killed 100 million people in 1918, effectively ending World War I, and so since then, nobody in infectious disease would have picked a coronavirus as being the next big, terrible thing that happened. It would have been the flu. So it's a virus that lives in birds normally, frequently not even making them sick, but every now and then you have these kind of strains of the flu that will kill millions of birds, and that's what's going on right now.
So is it a matter of maybe if we'll get it or maybe when we'll get it? How are you viewing this?
Well, you know, it's happened several times, and in fact, it's happened even in the memory of most of the people watching this. In 2009, we had a pandemic that went from birds over into humans, probably again, maybe with pigs as the intermediary. And there are two things you have to think about.
Okay.
How contagious is it?
Right.
And how deadly is it? In 2009, we won the part of the providential situation where it wasn't deadly at all. We didn't have a lot of people that died of that virus, but it was very contagious. Everybody got it.
So, Doctor, with that in mind, we heard so much, as we are right now, talk about the bird flu. Is it different from H1N1 that we heard about so much, let's say, back in 2009?
Yeah, it is. In fact, the H, which is one of those surface proteins, we talk about spike proteins in COVID, the hemagglutinin is one of the big proteins, abbreviated H on the flu. There are 18 different ones in birds. We only have had 3 in humans, and we have 2 of them right now. And so the H5 we've never experienced in humans, except there have been nearly 1,000 sporadic cases since 2003. 50% of them, not 50% people died of that infection. And though that's probably an inflated number because of various, we don't count the ones that we don't know about.
Right.
Just imagine COVID with a 10-fold mortality rate from what we saw. That's the kind of thing that you can get into when these things jump from birds to people who have no experience with that virus.
So I guess those type of mutations, how likely is that to happen? I mean, and to whom?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things. We've had one death and one young lady in Canada that was hospitalized on a breathing machine. They found some of those difficult mutations already occurring in her. It infected her deeper lungs, not just the eyes and the upper respiratory tract. So it happens. The question is, does it line up in just the right situation with the right contagion and the ability to cause severe disease?
So, Doctor, what happens if, and again, we're not trying to scare anybody, obviously, but trying to inform them and educate, but what happens if you already have just the regular flu and this comes along?
Well, we saw right now there's a new duck epidemic in California. It's yet a different one. It's H5N9. And so here's the worst part. If you have a human flu and you also are around chickens and you get a bird flu that infects the same person, you can actually get these genes that they have, there are 8 of them, reassorting into 256 possible daughter viruses. And the concern is that you can eventually get one of those that's both very contagious and very deadly. And that's what can happen in those situations. So that's why it's important for people to get their flu shots, even now, to prevent human flu, which could then reassort with bird flu.
So you're talking about getting the flu shot. Are there any other steps that we can take to help keep us as healthy as possible?
Well, if you're working around backyard flocks, if you have chickens yourself, you should probably take some care with gloves and probably a mask to prevent exposure, because some of these folks are getting these infections from their own backyard fowl, chickens, turkeys, and the like as well. And then, of course, people who work around chickens or now cows. There are a whole lot of dairy cattle that have been infected with this. It gets in the milk and it can spray around. So anybody that does that probably needs to take special precautions. There are vaccines for H5N1, but it hasn't been deemed appropriate to release those to people yet because there's still no human-to-human transmission documented yet for this virus. That's kind of the bellwether that you have to be really concerned if we demonstrate that. To date, we have not.
Got you covered there. One last thing I want to ask you about, maybe kind of related when it comes to illnesses and preventive measures here. We heard about some of our West Tennessee school districts letting out maybe for the rest of this week, not here Memphis Shelby County schools, but some a little bit farther north of us. What's happening there?
Well, it's a really high time right now for just the regular human influenza, H3N2, H1N1, and that kills 30,000 people per year in a regular year in the United States. So it's very high in our communities, and it has happened in the past. Probably a good idea if it really is high. I've heard 30-50% of teachers in a given school will be infected. Sometimes you can kind of pause that for a few days and really make the epidemic finally go away and subside.
Anything schools or school districts can do when it comes to trying to sanitize their classrooms and so forth?
Yeah, thankfully, flu doesn't live on surfaces for long periods of time, so being away for 2 or 3 days, that may be enough actually to do the job. And after that time, the virus wouldn't sit around for that long. So we would hope that that would do the job of kind of eradicating it in that one particular school at least.
That makes a lot of sense. Dr. Threlkeld, we appreciate you being here and making this house call. Hopefully we'll see you more right here at 3 o'clock.
Thanks, Alex. Nice to see you.
All right, nice seeing you as well. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.